Welcome to episode 48, Cougs on Cougs. And we had a basketball game, 2 basketball games that we won.
And we won both.
So 2 games in a row. I hope you like our festive set. We have some Christmas trees. And of course,
yes, BYU
we have
colored ornaments.
Blue and silver decorations because BYU. Those are like the only ones I have. We don't buy red ornaments. No football yet. Still waiting for the bowl game, but let's start with our quote of the week.
Yes, it comes from Larry Bird. He said, "Leadership is diving for a loose ball, getting the crowd involved, getting the other players involved. It's being able to take it as well as dish it out. That's the only way you're going to get respect from the players."
True. I thought that was basically Nick Emery on Saturday. Doing all that kind of stuff. Diving for balls, getting the crowd.
Proving why he was named captain by his teammates.
Exactly.
Because they do respect the guys that do that. And I think just on this young team, that's who they're going to look to. They're going to look to the guys who are doing this. We're going to go right into our contest winner. Thank you to everyone who participated in that. We had a lot of fun deciding which gifts we should get certain players. So I'll let Jess read you our winner.
Okay. So this is from ChaiSocks_Hawks. And he says this is a shirt for Mika to wear under his BYU jersey. And it's Ivan Drago, of course.
It is his doppelganger. I think Eric is better looking, but you can't deny the resemblance.
No.
It says, "I must break you."
So, yeah.
It's perfect. So
Congrats.
Here's your basketball that I think we'll have to mail to you because you're in Chicago. We wanted to share some other entries that we got. We got some really funny ones. This one came from Tasha Sabi, and she said that we better gift Eric a mustache grooming kit because he's going to have it for a long time. This is an appropriate time to bring up the fact that Eric did say after the Weber State game that he made it sound like it was a revelation that came to him one morning that he was not going to shave his mustache until after BYU wins the WCC championship. I like the confidence.
I do too.
I hope he thinks that'll be in March.
I'm sure he thinks it'll be in March.
And may it be in March.
Please. Because that thing's still pretty light right now. You can't really tell, but by then,
it'll show up. Also, our contest winner found a mustache grooming book for Tanner. Tanner no longer needs it because he did shave, but we could give it to Eric, I guess.
Yes. So my dad submitted a bunch.
He did.
That I loved. One of them that was my favorite was Peyton Dastrup needs some pom-poms and a megaphone so he can more effectively lead cheers from the bench.
Yes, and Peyton himself liked that. Dude, there was the Monmouth bench last year, and Peyton is giving it a run for its money.
And you know what? It's not just at basketball games. It's at, like, all of the sports.
He is... So. Yeah, we love Peyton.
Good job, Peyton.
And another really good one from Jess's dad said that Dave Rose needs a toupee to counter all of the hair he is losing with this young team this year. Hopefully he's losing less after the good performance we saw last week.
Yeah, thank goodness for that Colorado win.
Plenty of time for him to lose more hair.
Yes, I'm sure he'll have some more frustration this season. And with the reffing. This is from our good friend Andrew Fox, Fox on a Box, on Twitter. Chiming in here. He's a Utah fan, but he's also a BYU fan.
The bridge between us, I always say.
There you go. My gift is getting Sarah McLachlan to play I Will Remember You for Taysom Hill during halftime of the bowl game.
It's not a bad idea.
Poor Taysom. That'll be too sad.
It's like those pet commercials where they...
Oh, gosh, no. Please.
Anyway... Thank you for participating.
I'll remember you, Taysom.
We have some other stuff to give away, so make sure you keep watching. We'll do another contest soon.
Very good stuff.
Signed picture of Tanner Mangum? What? This is a special edition of Coaching from the Couch from St. George, from the house where I grew up, and these are my parents. The reason that I am a BYU fan. So that's my mom, Leisha, and that's my dad, Jeff, and they wanted me to make sure you knew they both were at BYU in 1984, and you all know the significance of that year. We're going to talk about the Colorado game, which was a very quality win, very important for our resume. If there was ever a win that we needed, it was Saturday night against Colorado. So we'll start with what went wrong so we can end on what went right. And everyone, we've got Coach Toscano, so Coach Mom. You can go first.
I think, as much as I hate to say this, I love Eric Mika, but I think he was a little out of sorts last night or Saturday night.
I think that's fair.
And, yes, he normally delivers on those 2-pointers, right? And he was being blocked most of the time, you know? And I didn't like the fact that he wasn't adjusting to that. You know, he kept trying it throughout the game. And so I would have liked to have seen him adjust a little bit more.
We will say for Eric, he did have food poisoning between the Weber State game and the Colorado game, and Colorado was by far the most athletic bigs that I think he had played to this point. So we'll give him a little bit of an excuse, but you could definitely tell that Eric was off. He wasn't having the night that he normally has. Coach Dad, what went wrong?
We got off to a great start, but not too long after that, it seemed like our zone defense was starting to collapse. And it felt like the perimeter shooting was going way too well for Colorado. And so their outside shots were going in, and we weren't getting to them. So that's what I think went wrong. Our zone kind of fell apart a little bit, and that's what led to the near tie at halftime.
Yeah, and luckily for us, those 3-point shots for them, I mean, they fell a little bit at first, but then they totally dropped off. And if those 3-point shots would have been going in, because we did allow them to have the opportunities, they shot 29 3-pointers, but luckily they only made 7. So for my thing that went wrong, I'm going to just talk a little bit about turnovers. I think this was actually my thing last week as well, because I was talking about how LJ Rose had 5 points and 5 turnovers. Mm-hmm. His ratio was a little better this week, but we still ended up with 16 turnovers. Mm-hmm. So when you're playing at this fast pace, and BYU plays at one of the fastest paces in the country, you're going to turn the ball over. It's just something that's going to happen. But I would say I want 10 to 12 to be the maximum amount of times you're turning the ball over. 16 is a little too much, and I would credit those extra 4 turnovers that we had that we shouldn't have to errant passes. I know there were at least 3 times in the first half where we threw the ball out of bounds, and it was supposed to be a pass.
So before you go into the next what went right, we need to mention that watching a game with these two is more intense and passionate than being in the rock section at the Marriott Center. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Well, see, I get it from somewhere. Okay, let's move into what went right, and on a happy note here. By the way, I don't think we mentioned the final score was 79-71, so we won by 8. But let's start with you again, Coach Mom. What went right?
I really liked the way that Nick Emery played. I thought he was awesome, especially in the first half. It was nice to see his shots going in. And I really, really liked how he adjusted in the second half. His threes were not going in, but he adjusted. He got in the inside of the paint, and he was able to adjust and make the 2-pointers.
What went right for me was rebounding. We out-rebounded them offensively and defensively, and especially in the last several minutes of the game. We got all those defensive rebounds, and they weren't hitting, so the defensive rebounds we turned into points, and I think that's how we won the game.
I think you're right. We went on that 12-2 run to end the game, and the reason we were able to do that is because they were missing shots, and we weren't allowing them. Second chance points will kill you, and they would have killed us. We only won by 8. If they would have had second chances on those possessions, then we'd probably lose. So good point, Coach Dad. Total rebounds, we had 46 to their 31, and we had 33 defensive rebounds to their 24, so very impressive. If we can, the thing, Coach Mom said that Eric didn't have the greatest game. The thing is, Eric still had a pretty impressive stat line, and he was pulling down those rebounds. So when he couldn't contribute with points, he was contributing with rebounds, which ended up being very important.
That's true.
My thing that went right, let's go with 3-point shooting, because 3-point shooting has been the monkey on our back for the entirety of the season so far, especially with Nick and TJ. On Saturday, we shot 47% from 3, and they only shot 20. Wow. Usually we're shooting 20, which is not something you say very often about BYU teams, but that's kind of been our average this season, and against Colorado, we finally shot nearly 50% from 3-point.
And when TJ does hit, we'll call him 3J.
3J, we liked that. Shout out to Steve Pierce, post-Jimmer. Okay, so that's what we've got. Any final thoughts, coaches?
It was a fun game to watch. I'm glad we won.
Go Cougars, we're waiting for that next national championship.
Thank you to my parents for joining us for Coaching from the Couch. That was a lot of fun.
That was great.
Now we're going to get into some awards. So it's the end of football season, the regular season. We still have the bowl game, don't worry. But we wanted to do something about football while we're kind of in that waiting period. So we decided we would give out our regular season awards. Mm-hmm. So we came up with 10 categories. Some are serious, some are less serious. But let's get started with most improved.
Most improved, we went with Micah Hanneman this year. So if you remember, last year he played corner. This year he switched back to safety, which is what he played in high school. And I think just over the season, he was great.
I feel like last season whenever I said his name, it was because I was mad at him for missing an assignment. But this year, whenever I said his name, it was because he did something well. So I think he looked really great out there. So that's who we're giving most improved to.
He did, and he's still young too. So we'll have him next year.
Oh, yeah.
A couple years, I think. Best hair. This is easy, and I don't think it's changed all season because it's Fred Warner. Mm-hmm. So hands down.
I know. We really couldn't think of anyone else that could even compete with him. So send us
except for
yours.
Troy, but sorry.
Tanner
Troy
does have really great hair. I especially like the way it looks right now. But Fred's like top tier. Best accent. Who else can we give that to besides Johnny Lenihan, our favorite New Zealander?
We could have given it to Ty Detmer, but we're going with Johnny on this
Honorable mention to Ty Detmer?
Yeah. Mr. Hustle. This is our award for sort of like all-around greatness, which goes to Taysom Hill.
Obviously.
Has to. Taysom gets all the awards for coming back this season and fighting back.
Okay, now we have defensive MVP. And this was hard because our defense really did have a great season. We couldn't decide between Fred Warner, Butch Pau, Kai Nakua, and Sai Tautu.
Yeah, those are all guys who made big impacts at one time or another. I think if Butch would have been healthy all season, it probably would have been Butch pretty easily. He
was just explosive, on fire in the first part of the season.
Yeah, it's too bad he got hurt.
But the reason I think if it came down to it, I was going to choose Fred and Jess was going to choose Kai. And the reason I was going to choose Fred is just because he's so fundamentally sound. And that's my favorite type of player. That guy who's always where he's supposed to be and isn't trying to be flashy. Even though he is flashy because he gets tons of tackles, but he just does his job.
For me, it was Kai because he, more than anyone else, can just change a game. You know, with his interceptions, he was, second, tied nationally for 5 interceptions in 9 games. And he was just incredible. I mean, you know, I think he improved from last year, and he was just always in the right place when he needed to be. And that's not just luck for Kai. That's his talent.
Total game changer, total ball hawk. Yeah. But also, shout out to Butch and Sai. So
we'll miss him next year.
Our offensive MVP. Who else?
Jamal Williams.
Has to be.
Who also came back. Thank you, Jamal Williams, for coming back. 3,691 yards on his career on 700 attempts.
Most in BYU's history.
Yep, so he's got 1,165 yards so far this season, and he's got a bowl game coming up. And he even missed a few games being hurt, so he's going to add some more to his all-time leading rusher status.
Yep, 34 touchdowns in his career. He got 11 this year. The only time he had more than 11 touchdowns was actually his freshman year, and that's when he had 12 on the year. So Jamal is a special player that we're going to miss a lot.
On and off the field.
On and on. Yeah, oh shoot. We didn't put Best Dancer Award on here, but it would go to Jamal.
Also, easily. No one else.
Next, we have our freshman MVP, and we're giving that to Troy Warner and Dion Lake, the two freshmen who came in and earned starting spots at cornerback. Troy had 14 total tackles on the season. Dion Lake had 31 solo tackles and 44 tackles total.
Yeah, he was solid, especially at the end of the year.
Those are not freshman numbers, so it's really exciting that they're so young.
Best newcomer. This is another one. I mean, there's sort of a lot of newcomers this year, so we want to go with 2 here. And the first one is pretty obvious, and that's going to be Coach Satake.
And the whole coaching staff tie, but we'll let Kalani, keep the trophy at his house.
Hey, Kalani brought all those guys in.
He did, and it worked.
Yeah, it was great. Good season, good defense. Offense is getting there. I think they laid the foundation at least, so.
Yep.
We'll see. For player newcomer, who do you want to go with?
I think we're going to go with KJ Hall, who does also happen to be a freshman. He had 5 receptions for 78 yards on the year and 183 yards on 34 attempts. Yeah. So he was averaging 5.4 yards per carry. And it was really nice to have him when both Jamal and Squally were injured and we were kind of in a pinch. But KJ was reliable. So
yeah,
I like what I saw. A couple more fun ones.
Cutest Dad Award. We have to give this to Parker Daw. If you were at the games at LaVell Edwards Stadium, he would put his little son on his shoulders and go around and give everybody high fives.
And his son had a little Daw jersey, too.
It's pretty cute.
And his little boy high-fived people. I wish we had a picture of that.
I know. Probably not.
We don't.
And honorable mention to Algie Brown.
Yeah, because at Halloween, he dressed his baby up as a Boo from Aladdin, and that was 10 out of 10. Cute. Our final award is for favorite musician on the team. We've got a lot of multi-talented kids on this team. We had to give it to Rhett Almond. We love talking to Rhett's sister this year, and she told us all about his cameo in Johnny Lenihan's music video for, what's that song called? Puntin', Kickin', and Lovin' Every Day.
Sure. It's country.
But the best part for me about that music video is Rhett in the background of like every shot playing his guitar.
That was pretty
And
great.
his sister said he is really good at the guitar. So there you go. So those are our awards. Tweet us. Let us know who you would have picked. Let us know if we picked wrong or right. And what other awards you would have given.
Talk of the Town this week has a lot going on.
It's loaded.
Which we love.
Yes.
We are going to start with our newest commit, which is John Vaca, we think is how you say it. He is a junior college player that had committed to Oregon and recently decommitted and committed to Coach Take, going to play for Coach Empey at BYU. So yay.
Yep. 3 stars for him.
More O-line, please.
That is a good
We can never
get.
have enough O-line, I think, as we learned this season.
Next was Taysom was in New York with his wife and with Ty Detmer we had mentioned on a previous show that he was a finalist for the Campbell Trophy, which a lot of scholarship money was at stake. He still won some. He didn't win the award, but we liked this picture that Ty tweeted out. That was a congratulations from Ty saying, "Love the way you represent BYU on and off the field." So do we, Ty.
Yes,
so do we.
We also like you in a tuxedo.
Oh, yes.
This was from Vi Sikahema. It says him hanging out with his nephew, who happens to be Bronson Kafusi, Ravens rookie Bronson Kafusi at the Army-Navy game in Baltimore. So
Yeah, and Kenny Montalolo on the sidelines, so we got a little crew over there. Speaking of our Cougars at the next level, and our other alum, there's Steve Young with Kyle Van Noy, and also on Monday night the Patriots play the Ravens. So speaking of Bronson, who unfortunately didn't play, but you've got Dennis, and so that's kind of fun for Kyle to be a part of that game, and fun to see him with Steve Young at Gillette Stadium. Look at where we are. Look at where we started.
I've been reading Steve Young's book. It's so good. If you haven't read it, read it. Nicole Williams tweeted out, "Thank you to all my family, friends, and BYU Nation for your support of Jamal. Jamal supporters have bought 153 tickets to the bowl game." And I'm sure that's probably more than that, right? Since she tweeted this, which was a few days ago.
It's going to be a big Williams contingent there, as there should be. So let us know if you're going to the game too. We won't be there, but send us your pictures from sunny San Diego. This was really cool. This is from Ken Pomeroy, who does all the rankings that mean anything in basketball. He was at the Marriott Center for Colorado versus BYU. He went to the Utah UVU game. He was at the UVU Utah State game, and he came to our game. So nice that he was there to see us get that resume win. I hope he remembers that. Now we move on to the Eric Mika section of Talk of the Town.
This is my favorite
He
portion.
warrants his own section because of how he's playing and because of how good his Twitter game is. So we'll let Jess get started
And how much we love him.
with some impressive news.
Eric Mika, for the second time already this season, we're only in beginning
The
of
season
December.
just started.
Yep, he is the WCC Player of the Week again for his 2 games. So he had the Weber State game, and then he had this game against Colorado. And in between those 2, he had food poisoning and was not feeling great, so he didn't practice at all. He just played in the 2 games and killed it.
And mind you, the WCC is nothing to sneer at this year. So him winning this isn't because there's no one else that could.
That's very
It's
true.
because he deserves it. This is from Jess, and she tweeted out, they do that thing, name that tune, up on the Jumbotron in between, timeouts and whatever.
Different athletes on different teams listening to songs
and trying to name it. So Eric, it was I Want It That Way, which is one of our favorite Backstreet Boys songs, of course. And Eric said, if it's a song about cheating, it's Backstreet. If it's a song about being cheated on, it's NSYNC.
Oh, I love that he knows that.
As if we could love him anymore.
I know that his knowledge of 90s boy bands, as Steve said, Steve Pierce showed that tweet, he said that his knowledge of 90s boy bands just endears him to him more.
Yes.
And to us.
And speaking of him endearing himself more to us, he had this hilarious tweet. Waking up this morning, realizing I have 4 terrible finals this week and haven't had any time to study for them yet. Got me
This picture
That is
from his freshman year.
terrifying photo
Is this from
of
freshman
him.
year?
Last one in our Eric section. This is funny.
This is really funny. This is from Rebecca Lane, who's a web editor for Utah Valley 360. And she said, fun fact, after Eric Mika dominated in the win over Weber State, our traffic spiked on an old story about Eric Mika's engagement. I wonder what question people were asking. What do you think?
Jess knows what they were asking. Is Eric Mika single? Well, sorry,
No,
boys and girls,
sorry.
he's not. Now, moving on to our TJ Haas section, which has also become a weekly thing.
I'm so sorry, TJ. I'm starting to feel bad.
This one's less mean. Well, they're all mean. This is from the Ralphie Report, who also had some other funny tweets after the BYU Colorado game, but he said, number
good.
30 on BYU is getting sunburned by the arena lighting. Okay, but we have a nice one to counterbalance the mean one this week.
This is from Woodrow Dale. He says, TJ House from BYU is representing gingers everywhere. And he is, and he's killing it. He's representing them very finely. TJ House on the basketball court and Ron Weasley on the Quidditch pitch. Representing gingers.
We just wanted to give a really big shout out to The Rock because, as Spencer Linton tweeted during the Colorado game, the Colorado coach Tad Boyle said to an assistant, "It just works. All the talking, it's a distraction. You're doing your job."
Yeah, The Rock during free throws when they did this. This is the first time I've heard it. Maybe I haven't been paying attention, but they were doing something. Yeah, they were like actually saying stuff instead of just yelling, and it was distracting.
Keep it up.
So good work. And I think we should share. Gregor Bell tweeted out, opponents' free throw percentage numbers and how they haven't been very good, and he was like kind of saying it was just a luck thing, and The Rock was like, no.
No, free throws are mental.
For
so if The Rock's getting in their head, then they do deserve credit.
Good job, Rock. We need that, and we'll need it, especially with conference starting soon. Mm-hmm. Now we're into our lookalike thing, which we'll do
we love. Yeah.
So this is from Ryan Hancock, tweeted at Ben Criddle. He says, "Do you see any Leo DiCaprio in Peyton Dastrup's round face, or is it just me?" And Ben said, "I'll have to look deeper into his eyes."
Ben is always trying to encroach on our territory.
I know. Ben, let us do the looking
but that's
deep
hilarious.
into eyes thing.
And doppelgangers, come on.
Yeah.
Do you see it, Peyton and Leo?
Yeah, from this picture, I kind of can a little bit.
Okay, yeah, because look, the next thing in our lineup is Peyton. So look at this picture and think, Leo DiCaprio? I can see it.
I can see a little bit.
Moving on to the relationship section of Talk of the Town, which we haven't had in a while either. So here's your little update.
So we know Eric Mika is not single. We told you that earlier.
Yep.
Peyton Dastrup, also not single. So this is a picture of his girlfriend, Beth. And if
they've been all over Twitter and Instagram.
Yes. So they're very involved, very cute. LJ Rose, it was his birthday.
Happy birthday, LJ! So this tweet is from Cheyenne Butler, who is a basketball player at Houston, and that's LJ's girlfriend. So she said, "Happy birthday to my best friend. I love you. 23 looks great on you."
With lots of cute pictures.
Yeah, they are cute.
Her hair is awesome.
I know.
Her hair look like that.
Best hair. And
then the other one we wanted to throw out there was Colby Leifson, who also has a girlfriend. We've seen him post pictures with her, and I think her name's Rosie. And she's very cute.
They are cute.
Cute picture. So and then we've talked before about Elijah. Elijah's still dating.
Got a really pretty girlfriend. So the ones we don't really know about are Steven, Davin, and Corbin.
I think so.
So either they're single or aren't vocal about their
Eric, Nick, TJ, Brayden, all married. Kyle Davis married.
Is Jamal dating anyone?
Probably not.
He's a gem. Someone snatched that boy up because Jamal is great. Okay, we also had to put this in our relationship section of Talk of the Town because it's just so cute.
This is from Jake Oldroyd.
Yes.
Remember Jake? Game winner of the Arizona game earlier this year.
Yep. And, Johnny's kind of like his mentor figure. So Jake tweeted to Johnny, "Happy birthday to the funniest guy I know. This year wouldn't have been the same without you. Thanks for all the memories. Love you, baby." With 4 pictures.
Johnny's response, "Bae, this post totally made my day. OMG, you're so cute and thoughtful." With
goals? Relationship goals?
That bromance, well, if Jake wasn't leaving on a mission, there's a chance that bromance could overtake our Tanner and Matt one, but probably not going to happen.
Let's move into what is next. No football, and we have no basketball games this week until Saturday, so it's kind of a bummer to only have one this week.
I hate finals week.
I know.
It's the longest.
But on the bright side, it is a big one. So it's kind of nice to have that week of rest, as much rest as they're having in between
for
finals.
Your finals, Eric Mika.
Sorry, Eric.
And also feel better.
Yeah, seriously. So BYU versus Illinois, that one's going to be in Chicago. It's at 7:30 Mountain Standard Time, and it's going to be on the Big Ten Network. Unfortunately for everyone, no one has that channel unless you
I don't even have that channel, and
she
I have
has
every channel.
all the channels.
I'm mad about it.
So we will help you out and put the link where it's going to live stream. At least they have live streaming. CBS Sports doesn't even have live streaming.
I know. I hate live streaming, but I will take it.
It's better than nothing. It's better than YouTube, hopefully. That is part of the State Farm Chicago Legends tournament at the United Center. Tweet us your picks if you go, and we do want to couch coach with someone that makes their way to the game, so let us know if you're going.
Our sponsors this week is, first of all, Cosmo, and we hope he recovers from his injury. It was kind of weird to see Cosmo walking off or being helped off the court the other day.
And coming out in crutches.
Yeah, that's
so
a little
sad.
strange. Never
So,
seen that.
hashtag pray for Cosmo.
Yes.
And our second sponsor is George Hill, who, for the second time in recent history, showed up at a BYU game. So the dude loves BYU, and who can blame him? May you always stay loyal to the white and blue. For Jess, I'm Mary. We'll see you next week.